up, RC4 Squad? Mike back with another video. So in this video, we're going to be installing a new upgrade for the steering servo on the 3S, 4S ARRMA cars. So let me just start by saying I'm actually going to install this onto the Kraton 4S. But just for purposes of this video, I'm going to use this chassis so that you guys can see everything a little better. But ultimately, as you can see, I have a couple different parts here. Ultimately, it's going to go into this. Now, a little bit of a backstory. When I built this truck and put the servo saver on, I used epoxy instead of my typical glue, where I put a couple drops of glue. Let's get on top here, here, and here, and that holds them good. This last time I decided to try something different. I don't even know what I did with that servo saver now, but I put epoxy all the way around it. It did not work. So I went and fixed that before the last bash when I installed this Power HD servo. But I took all that epoxy off and I loaded this up with super glue. Now, like I said, typically I just put a drop, and a drop and let it go, and it works great. I filled it all the way in, and what it ended up happening is the plastic teeth inside here, the 25T splines, they stripped out because the servo saver was locked all the way up from the super glue with no give. Now, when I typically put that glue the way I normally do it, like it's done on this car, if you take too big of a hit, it'll just break that super glue. But apparently that was too much glue and it wasn't able to break the glue. It stripped the servo saver. So ultimately that was my fault, and the super glue trick definitely still works. But I'm gonna try something a little different. I hear all the time about the sloppy steering that sucks, and so many people recommend the LMT servo saver, which is something similar to this. Now, this isn't an LMT servo saver. This is off of a Rift, one of the Axial RBX10 Rifts. This is an aluminum version that I got off of Amazon just to try and see if it would work. And I know that guys have to like cut this box all up to get it to work, and then cut some of the end of this off to make it work. Well, I got with Garage Life RC and we decided that we wanted to make it different. Another thing that I don't like is guys jack this servo up with some posts or some spacers. And man, I know they say that that doesn't hurt anything, but take any of your cars and wiggle your steering, that your steering's locked pretty tight, and you'll see these servos move. So I didn't think that was a good idea, and I got with Garage Life RC and we talked and came up with this riser. So what this Garage Life riser does is basically it lays down inside here, and it is what jacks this whole kit up. Instead of jacking up just the servo so that this fits, it jacks the whole kit up, which is absolutely perfect, guys. Give me 1 second. I want to move this and get this turned around, and I'll do a little more explaining. Okay, guys, so just as an example, when you stick this servo saver on here, let me do it to this one because I already got this one cut. When you stick this servo saver on here, it is not flush. And that's the trick with these, is that they're so thin, so they work under here. But when you install one of these, as you can see, it's way below. So you got to jack up the servo. So these guys have been jacking the servo up to fit that. And that's where the Garage Life mount comes in handy, is you don't have to do that. You can just lay it, the whole box is jacked up, so it's free and clear to get underneath there like that. So that is what we're gonna do in this video. There's a few other things you gotta do, like cut this out, and I'm gonna show you that with this other box because I haven't cut it out yet. So basically, when you got your box, you see this little ridge right here, it's got the little groove to cut out to line up your arrow. So what I do is I just take a regular old razor knife and I just cut straight down into here and get that cut, and then I do the same thing on this side so that it's cut. And then I'm able to just break this. Well, maybe, yeah. So just break this piece out. Now I've already done it to this one because I'm gonna be doing this in my Outcast too. And depending on how you are, if you're like me, you can clean it up so it's nice and clean looking. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do real quick. There we go, so nice and clean. Also jacked mine up with some carbon fiber spacers that I had laying around. So cut that away, and I still had the back of this touching just a little bit, so I just grooved it out. What you guys buy will have that already cut out, so you won't have to worry about it. But it just mounts to the bottom, so you just kind of lay this down in here like so. Then you're able to line this up in there like so. Let me get a couple of these screws in to hold it in. There will be longer screws that's needed, and I do believe they will be supplied with the kit when you buy the kit. Get that one in. So there you guys have it. The LMT mod, as Minnie dubbed it. My bearings back in there. So just like that, guys, that simple. And as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see down in there, but there's plenty of clearance. Your servo's nice and secure, no movement. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get all this installed onto the Kraton chassis. And once I get it installed onto the Kraton XXL, I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like when it's all buttoned back up. Okay guys, so I'm back. I got this thing installed in the XXL Kraton. It just went absolutely perfect, guys. I couldn't be happier with it. I did run into one hiccup, but it's nothing I'm really gonna mention because it's gonna be taken care of in manufacturing before it ever gets out. Also know, guys, that this is also the truck that has the new ESC mounting tray from Garage Life RC that's rocking this ESC. I mean, it is in there solid. Now it's matched up right next to the Garage Life RC's new, I don't even know what this is going to be called yet. I'm going to assume we're going to call this thing the Servo Saver Spacer Kit, but I got it on there. Posting about this, I had someone worried about the wires. I guess he had a Max 8 too, and he was worried about the wires getting in the road of the box, lifting this box up. I run mine a different direction than him. My motor wires are to the back, so I just have these wires, but I don't know if you can get in there and see real good, but this actually made a channel for this wire to run around and get on the inside. So I'm gonna turn this thing on, just show you guys how it's working sitting on the bench. It's gonna be loud because the fan's loud, unless I can unplug the fan. All right, unplugged. All right, so got the Dumbo RC, the DDF 350. I'm really digging this thing, guys. But now I know it doesn't have wheels on it and it's not fitting. on anything. But guys, let me tell you, these Power HD servos do wonders. For 40 bucks. You definitely can't beat them. I've recommended them for a long, long time. Okay guys, so that's gonna wrap things up on part 1. We have this all nicely and installed into the Kraton 4S XXL. These things will be available real soon on the website, I'm sure. There's still just a few more kinks to work out. I'm pretty sure that these are gonna be sold with or without the servo saver itself. I do know Tyson has them that he's gonna be able to offer a whole kit. I think he'll just sell just a mount if you already have an LMT servo saver or one of these RBX 10s. I will link everything to this truck in the description, including the servo saver kit from Garage Life RC. I'll probably have to come back and edit that in later, because at this time there is no link for that, but there will be. So this is the part of the video where I ask you guys to hit that like button, and if you're not a subscriber, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. It don't cost you nothing, and it helps me out a bunch. Make sure you guys check out Garage Life RC. He's coming out with some awesome new products. As you can see just on my truck, I got Garage Life RC lipo straps, the best in the business. I got the servo mount. I do have the servo mount. I also have the ESC mount that him and I worked together and got this stuff together to really make this Kraton 4S what it's supposed to be. Between Garage Life RC and M2C, they have really stepped up their game, made some awesome parts to make this truck so we don't break them. I've not ever snapped a chassis on this 4S since I've had it. And I've not snapped a chassis on my Mojave since I've had it, and I've not snapped a chassis on the Outcast since I've had it. So these parts are doing something right, guys. And that's where I'll leave it at. Until next time, guys, my name's Mike. This was another Garage Life RC how-to video. And until next time, guys, peace out.